What if the arrow that went through Harold Godwinson's head chose different target, and William the Conqueror died at Hastings? What would be the fate of England and the entire Europe? This question will be answered in this video. We all know that the year 1066 is important. It is when Crusaders King's 3 starts, a game I started playing a lot. But why is it important? It is because the situation in England, which was really interesting and important. In the same year, King Edward III the Confessor died, and King became Harold Godwinson, but the throne was promised to one bastard in Normandy, who you should know. The Vikings also attempted an invasion of England, which was the last one, and ended the Viking Age, which lasted for almost 3 centuries. But William the Bastard was victorious and became William the Conqueror and King of England. And that's how Normans obtained England, really simplified. There is more to that if you want to know. But what if the Normans lost the same way as Vikings? Let's say that there is a storm on the sea, and part of Norman army dies. Now weaken and Normans lose, and William the Conqueror is killed in the battle. Harold Godwinson solidifies his position as King of England and rules it. What has changed? Harold Godwinson was around this time 44 years old, so we can expect that he would rule for another 20 years or so, and create his dynasty. Meanwhile in Normandy, Robert Curthose would become Duke, and he would still be vassal to French king. You can also know Robert from his first crusade appearance, and he almost became King of Jerusalem, and he may join this crusade in this timeline as well, if he fails to take England, like his father did. So in this reality, it is possible that the Normans will become kings of Jerusalem. We can also see more Norman adventures all around Europe. In our timeline, they created their kingdom in south of Italy, Duchy of Antioch in Middle East, kingdom in Anatolia, conquered part of Africa, etc. This time, they may do something in Spain, Sardinia, and their presence in Africa would be much stronger. This means that Crusader states would be stronger as well, if on the throne of Jerusalem sit a Norman. But I don't know if we butterfly away the Fourth Crusade, but if we do, Byzantium has a solid chance of surviving to this day. Reconquista would also be faster if we add Norman kingdom in Spain into the fold, and might even continue to Africa. This Spanish realm would be slowly absorbed into Spain proper, with the interesting Norman heritage, like in South Italy. But England would be really different. Without the Normans, buildings like the Tower in London and many other castles are not created, and even language itself is different. The Normans brought many French words into English, like blues, castle, beef, etc. In this timeline, English remains more Germanic due to the Anglo-Saxons still being in power. This means that England would not waste resources on the continent, and they would concentrate on the Isles, prompting his unification sooner. Because I can't say which king of Godwin dynasty would achieve that, I will say some rough dates. Around the year 1200, entire Wales would be conquered, and around the year 1400, Scotland would fall as well. Now they would concentrate on Ireland and conquer it around 1550. This all would happen if we assume that there wouldn't be any dynastic troubles, which may lead to civil wars or any other kind of problems. As you can see, we have also avoided great wars, like the 100-year war with France. This means that France would not be consolidated by the king and centralized, meaning that absolutism might rise later, as it was inspired by France, maybe around 750 or 1800, and combine it with enlightenment. This era would be rough for European kings, and I would not wonder if we see some really big revolution. But let's not forget that in 1492 America is discovered, but there is still one thing that I have to mention, and that is that England is most probably still a Catholic country. If you return back to colonization, Spain and Portugal would have head start, but Britain would join the race sooner, replacing France, which would still manage to take some islands, but not any territory on the continent of America. This entire situation would lead to several wars with Spain, which result is hard to predict, so I will end the situation in colonies by Britain taking some Caribbean islands and big part of North America, with Spain and Portugal having the rest. There would also be much more Germans in America due to their similarities with Anglo-Saxons, slowly assimilating and creating a new dialect there. English and German people would also have no problem to understand each other, due to the British, like I have said, being much more Germanic. On the European continent, we could see an interesting situation with the religion and Protestant Reformation, which would spread more due to non-centralized nature of these states. I think that we can create a really interesting scenario if we make French King adopt Protestantism. These religious wars would also help centralize the old continent, but they would still be as bloody as 30 Years' War, and maybe even bloodier if Spain is richer. But after this, it's really difficult to say how would Europe look. Nationalism would probably still rise, and Europe would be expanded by North Africa, which would be ethnically and culturally part of Europe for centuries at this point. But this is all. If you enjoyed this video, you can give like, subscribe and join my Discord server. Link is in description. Salvete.